다들 주야 그 유명한 팀 순수시베 원주기 한다지 송주였으나라고 원주 최시하기 둘라 바바 임베레 No.
So today is the first day of the pre-Munlam teachings for the 34th Kagyu Munlam.
안에 다 가상 권수변하신 다 드린데야. 자신이 되면은 라면은 저티 자임래. 안 달로 자신이 되면 티자 타마로디 드림브레.
As I mentioned before, this year we are having the instructions on Guru Yoga from the Mahamudra Torch of True Meaning. And this will conclude our teachings on the Torch of True Meaning. So for 2 days, that is 2 days including today, we will have the instructions on the Guru Yoga from the Torch of True Meaning, and then we will have 1 day of instructions. The last day will be instructions on the 4-session Guru Yoga.
어느 맛이 튀시라면에 저렇게 아주 라면에 저 장수가 채배 걸라 뇌아디 튀시라면에 저 누구 아래.
And when we do the Guru Yoga practice together, we will recite the 4-session Guru Yoga.
튀시라면에 저렇게 아주 기 주든 시그널을 주셔야 안테라 첩지도 안 튀시기 티 초리지 제제 안 대양 다기 갈라칸섬으로 지금 나는 교수하래. 되게 상물로 맛이 가시 빠르게요래. 따이네 마치에디 엔바지 웹사이트 돌이야. 다당가 주기 다 디링선이 웹사이트 sana chazi sarva je go cheje an di na lo le ya an tu shi la me ne ju de sang lo ju chui di sui je ye bre an di rin bin ju sa ne an de ge sang me ge an de si chu go le sam chang do.
We have translated the 4-session Guru Yoga into 10 different languages or so. And we also have a collection of commentaries on the 4-session Guru Yoga, which has been translated into a few languages. We have printed many of these, but you will also be able to get all of them from a website. We have a new website which we will be opening or unveiling either today or tomorrow. And we have made e-books of the 4-session Guru Yoga in all the languages. And so I think you will be able to get your text, you will all be able to get your texts from the website.
address
We will give you all the website address for this either today or tomorrow.
Dharma e-book Sarve Chazi Share Tina Lore Chidangi Pyoge Gadam Dingur Pyoge Tolye Gada Dingur Zor Chebe Pygu Nambasangebe Jige Shungluda and Jig Yamling River the Zochel Cheche Gave Imre Drain Jusan and Digitone 대한 지가 주 벽에 좀더 마세요. 야, 지 인지계 돌에 칼라칸스미여. 지 가게 돌에 칼라칸스미여. 어느 길이 신다 돌에는 칼라칸스미여 그렇지. 도시 민주산에 한 남발랭이 성로래야. 칼라칸스미지 펜도 용토베 문두주여.
The address for this will be Dharma eBooks, and within this site there will be primarily the Tibetan Buddhist canon, as the canon of the words of the Buddha and the treatises. There will also be many different Tibetan Buddhist texts and practice texts as well. These will primarily be in Tibetan, but not just in Tibetan. There are also a few texts available in English, as well as Chinese, and some other languages as well. So I have the hope and prayer that this will be of benefit for all of you.
Dari mise anda di masen. Tadine dari kolo denjo wan toba dizu en tujila manager en niresin machaba en nyamsu lengua aji lam nyamsu lengu yes cheje kazang umane kyabda cheyare en mi mangbo chigi delea be 가수에 개심으로 지체 어다 소소기 교실라면은 저디 니마다바르시 냠네 체투연다 미용 제마투나 아니 왕디 슈투사 마레 선선 근데기 삼류된 거 마우시라도 다디 낸덴도 치아버지 당 개심부지 지버지 성거를 삼 챙겨도 야부시라래 다이네 덴데
Now with the Chakra Samvara empowerment that we had yesterday, the now that you have taken this empowerment, you should recite the 4-session Guru Yoga text daily without missing any days, as has been previously announced. So many people realized how important this is, and then they began to wonder, will they be able to practice the 4-session Guru Yoga like this? And if they're unable to, is that a violation of something? Is that a problem with the empowerment? So that many people have been worrying about this. And I think that this shows actually how diligent and how important you consider this to be. And so actually I think this is very good.
That day, Chidangi, Yidamga Laige, Wanshe Kadishtabina, Dijala Tigi, Energy Kajure, Nindrup Senandra. He can get to Chawachi to Sadi Ore. Taina also, Mambuchilia, one Mambush Toy Inza. You don't like one Raman Mambush Toy Inza. That relation to the dog Gujin Yamni Chawachuna, Yamni Chatuya Mevich. Those you mean do Sane? Da Lamenager. That the Kashre, Lamati, Idam Gudu. Anyway, Chugong Gudu and that the little Juba Mavache. Take a lamenager Yamne Chavina, that Chishi Kunzor with Chai and Dusane, and Tetamji, Tubachaji, Lusoji, and Super Hanzonia, Chugu, Tamjel Vaji de Sorche, the name Dusan T. Junzen Dene, and the Ray, then show one shoots have Jelia, and then show Yamne Chavochumina. And Kawin gets some tango. The name you sane any Lamanager, Napsulan Gores. That Lamanager, Chitangi, Kamakamsan Shabina, Lamanager, Kidu, Commander Zeshawa, Mambuyor. Gidu Nasoyor. That Inano, Zawam, Zor Jugati, and Tushila Manager Shadiore, Cesar, Kamakamsan, Gi. Jesu Jupiter Bina, and Tujila manager, Councilor Dos. Taine Kazan, one Shuikalia, G. Kamsan Jibo Mare, Kayu Mare, Chugu, Ha, the Minji and Payers Re, Jeza Ranasu Lugi, Dala manager, Zochawa, Zachawa, Kariyubinea, Tinyam Solena, Takarangi, and Jagdo Samchando.
Now, in general, whenever you receive the great empowerment of any yidam deities, you need to do the approach practice, or you need to do the daily practice. But these days, many of us have received many different empowerments of many different deities, and if we were to practice all of them, we wouldn't be able to do all of them together. And so, for that reason, when we do Guru Yoga, if we imagine that the Guru is the union of all the Yidam deities, and the Guru is the union of all the Dharma protectors, and practice Guru Yoga in that fashion, then I think that is enough. In this way, it is like the one practice accomplishes everything, and it is fine to do this way. This is established as a practice in all the different Tibetan traditions. And so yesterday, having given the empowerment of Chakrasamvara, I think it's difficult for everyone to do the Chakrasamvara practice. So for that reason, you should do the Guru Yoga practice. Now, with Guru Yoga practices, within our Karma Kamsam tradition, there are many different Guru Yoga practices, long and short, that have been written by many great masters and scholars. But among them all, the foundational one, or the primary one, is the 4-session Guru Yoga. And so followers of the Karma Kamsan tradition should recite. I think it's fine for you to recite the 4-session Guru Yoga. But yesterday, during the empowerment, it wasn't only followers of the Karma Kamsang who came to take the empowerment. People were not just from the Kagyu tradition. There are people from many different traditions. And so I think that if you recite the most important Guru Yogas from your own individual tradition and practice that, it will be fine.
Tuna zo de wang top zam yi zhe ma le wang top ne da ji ni ba gu wang ge ji gu de en sang ge lam nyam su lin rung zhe ji de de ji sue sha de an da ji mu tu ni ji su su ge sang ge nyam ne chen mu tu ni nyam su le an pen do ji yung ge ma da be wang gru zhe xi ge da zhi song da cha song sam ra ji ge an lo de ba shi de de nan zhe me chi yin du sa ne nge ba du an ji su su ge a tu ju dang je nyam ne che gwa de ke zhe mo re sam zheng.
The main point is that merely taking the empowerment is not enough. The empowerment makes your being capable or appropriate for practicing the path of secret mantra. And so once you have taken the empowerment, if you continue the practice of the secret mantra, then it will be beneficial. Otherwise, once you have been bestowed an empowerment, if you think, okay, that's enough, I'm done, and just sit back and relax, that's not going to be okay. And so I think it's important that absolutely you need to continue the practice.
An yamne chi du ju ka zes go ya na sam ro ji jen si re kare sana azu ji bene chi ge ne yong ye ma go ji nam gyu le ga cha sa bo re de ne ju sa ne ngar ji kelen che sha we gi ta ka ju re nyam le cha ne mang bu yong de ya re ti ding do tang dong yang ge tu shi la men ne ju ji ne yong du des samya jigi 가서 지고 사버리지 kurbu르 차대하기 그러나 년가 여비입니다. 다이네야 드린 아주님도 되시려면은 저 사진 연결에 나도 잘 사진들 치료에 잘 사진들 얼마시 아주 늘리산에 하고 대버치지 아니 가서에 연결에 아니 소소한 늘리산에 아니다 대제 간제 제마지 소소 나와요래 조된다 미버차리서 계좀 차리요래 드린 뉴스안에 뱀시지 깔래 하고 싶지 가르조에 니마 딱와 냠내 재미도 야지기 드리지기 깔래 하고 싶지 예버지 이 소름도
Another question that comes up is because there are many people who don't know the practice of the 4-session Guru Yoga, people wonder, how long is it? How much time does it take to do the practice? Especially for people who have come from abroad, they have very busy lives and are very busy with their work. And to add another commitment on top of all of the commitments that they already have really can feel, in addition to add that, the commitment to recite the 4-session Guru Yoga, this can feel like it's very weighty or very heavy, like it's a great load. So there's a danger that you might feel that way, or a possibility you might feel that way. So today we will recite the text one time together. We'll do this in the morning once. We'll also do it in the afternoon once. And when we recite it here, we will recite it very slowly. But when you recite it on your own, how fast or how slow or how fast you recite it is really up to you. The main thing is it is the visualizations that are most important. So in any case, I do not feel that this is actually all that difficult to do every day.
Maji, tunshi duba ji cha yore, tunshi duba, samarwe. Tende ji ye yore, taine tunshi duba di labshana. And mitsamle duba di yamne che geba yamne che rasamare. Tende induzana, tunshi duba di shigminta. Labna yabu yosamare.
Actually, there is a short 4-session Guru Yoga practice, but if I teach it to you, everyone will do the short practice and no one will do the regular one. So I don't think it's such a good idea for me to teach you the short version.
Dona, da, cancel ya, ngar idam hai ji gomde chiaro. Tende yebi ina, mangbu yena, kashi du chore. Je rangal lakwa la, unetne gita, la megi, kayene, inji minji di, mandena tuk mare suaruchi. Tende je kayo bata. Yana je susugi, debe lam, lakwa la, mise ina mado, yana shen ya, labe la tende ki, karsho gomde mangbu yebi ina, deba du je. Yana je, la mene jursan yamse lene, madibke yo mare. In Hindustan, the Junzen Dene, Yang Kanzu, Kajwe, Jinyamlin Cheshena, that would give you not so sad. Silly give you not so sad, to not do. The Hindustan, the Kajweta, Jimmy, Kajwe, Tab Chigla, Nam. Go chigla, number shengo aluji, use the money.
Basically, if you have already had many different Yidam deity practices that you do, you can shorten a few, you condense a few. You might have a special deity. Maybe that's a deity whom your guru has given you particular instruction that you must do this particular deity. Or there might be a deity for whom you have a special feeling, a particular deity of your own. But otherwise, you can, if you have many Yidam deities, you can have a longer or shorter recitation of the practice. Or it's also to do fine to do the Guru Yoga in their place. Basically, if you know how to do the practice, then you can do the practices whether the texts are long or whether they are short. There are various different ways to do it. It's not as if there is only a single way that you have to do the practice.
Ta ma la mene juru di ngedun jumin nang la mene juru di shuai tamongel majlo den deshi shujo shuai.
So now I will begin with the text on the Guru Yoga from the Torch of True Meaning. First I will read the text and then I will give the explanation.
Shiva Shilam Newton Jubarcheva, Lamene Journey, Sober, Dombarja, Dombangale, Bemaro than you made in the Ranido Japon, Chitrago. They are a Lutame Baracomna, Jibamada Bala, Chilamiju. Yidam the Gombi, Chilam Newton Jugla, Dindi, Yidamia, Rangameva Jana, Gomchome, Sangetam, the Gebe, Dojipangoni, or Chakesham, number Lizzie Game, Gamershaw in Bata. Nanjurme, Ringdi, Inge, Chilam Yuata. Jejuma Metas, Yisai, the Mibi, Dendigia, Dedarja, Challenge Da.
Fourth, Guru Yoga, which brings blessings swiftly. Purify into emptiness with the Swabhava mantra. From the nature of emptiness, there are a lotus, corpse, and sun as a seat, on top of which you are Vajravarati, visualized in the general manner. When you meditate on your body in its ordinary form, the impure cannot receive blessings. Visualizing yourself as the Yidam creates the interdependent connections so that the blessings may be received easily and rapidly. Although you could meditate on any Yidam that appeals to you, Vajravarahi herself is the mother who gives birth to all the Buddhas. She is in essence Mahamudra, appearing to us in the form of the co-emergent mother. Because this type of yogini is dear to us, the blessings are swift.
온도시 타마디 라멘네 저거래 라멘네 저 냠술레 메걸 라멘네 저 냠레 치두 런진 나 타메비 뉴시 마샤베 chen 안 이덤 간호식이 이덤 간호식도 매바차 지금 공부요래.
When we are practicing the 4 special preliminaries, there are all sorts of Guru Yoga, but when we practice Guru Yoga, then we visualize ourselves not in our ordinary forms. We should imagine ourselves and meditate upon ourselves as being any Yidam deity.
다디 슝근나는 숨은 어래 제자다 이덤 공과데 다지 다가들 지금 탐매배 나와 젠드스 과 까네 젠보체지 봐지 왕매바 파 까네 근데 지금 타고에 나와 게야 들으지미래 타고에 나와 게소나 아니 지금 죽으래스 근데 숨으래 죽라와래스.
The reason why we need to visualize ourselves as the Yidam deity is that we need to block the ordinary impure appearances. We need to forcefully block these ordinary appearances. And if we block them, then we will develop the pure appearances. If we have these pure appearances, then we will be easily able to receive the blessings.
다디 nengaade 간데레 슈비입니다. 마지 강 지단 강주 신도 가버려. 그래서나 어느 전이 소소 탐에 남준데 능시 남준기 미세는라도 남준기 다 전이 가리비네 다라야 인삼 텐데나 아니 미세기 지 셈리아 지 소화로 지다 지 셈리아 미세기 가르주에지 가르주에지 최주배 거래야 미세기 뽑아게야로 지다 다른 신기 손한게야로 지 가지 매배수시.
The main point is, as you probably know, that when you think of yourself in your regular form, as you usually are, and think, I'm just the same as that it's difficult for you to develop any particular feeling in your mind. You probably don't have any particular confidence or particular feeling for practicing the Dharma.
제장아주 다 이담 검수도 가르쳐 버렸으나 남균 소소 가르임바 남균 미르죠. 다데 미 당아다 화인 삼바르지 베나지 제레스 인 삼바르지 제제 제레스 인 삼 다 소소 남균데 바 뉴르체 다 제레스 차송 삼바르지 다 도스 메바 체고 얼바.
Whenever we visualize ourselves whenever we visualize ourselves as the Yidam deity, instead of thinking of ourselves in the regular form, as we usually are, we think, I am the deity, I am Avalokiteshvara. We think that we have become Avalokiteshvara, or the deity, and then we practice thinking in this way.
다 제레스 인삼 태연데 다 제레스 제단지 제고로 마도베 남 유소수 제단 제는 저거 말아 제레스 인삼 사래 제자 제레스 제단으로지 제레스 룩소르지 제고로 와.
And once we begin to think of ourselves as when you think, I'm Chenrezig, I'm Avalokiteshvara, then we need to begin to act like Avalokiteshvara. Once we think, I'm Avalokiteshvara, we can't just continue acting in a normal way.
남주 소소 임비나 아니 베나지 미신다지기 에지 소소기 나와를 만들어지 책지 랍사나 혼로제는 저거래 가라잖아 남주 소소 지 가르쳐 탐해봐 가리님 버티러봐 다이네 제레스리아 몇바 채서지 나 남주 소소 저거만 제레스 자 다 제레스 공로사나 뺏어가러 아 드린주 다 미신다가 나와만으로 시에서네 다 제레스 인두사네 다 남주 삼나다데 마당아지지 다 삼르신다 당제 이제 다 간다 깽이 간다 충분히네야 예다 삼르신 당당 만들어서 당고래 섬사로 지들이 용고로 봐
So usually when someone does something that gets under our skin, we think it's fine to get angry at them. But the moment we're visualizing ourselves and thinking that we are as Avalokiteshvara, if someone does something that annoys us, then it wouldn't be right for Avalokiteshvara to get angry. We'd be done if it would be finished if Avalokiteshvara got angry. When people do things that we don't like, and we should think to ourselves, I'm Avalokiteshvara. And then instead of reacting in our normal way, we need to find a different way to approach that. We need to have a different attitude in our mind and think about it in a different way.
참삼 가지고 내용으로 배나 롱이 진짜 다용주사네 디나의 캐릭터 소머를 다지 롱이 디난게 미나 지리야 소수 몇바 유두사네 다 참삼 디기 제단으로 체제 루두잔 디로단으로 체 깨지시 디기 깨지시랑 레모로 체들이 지고 봐. 다 디 소르 체.
For example, sometimes when we watch movies, there's a character in the movie that we really like, and then you start to act like that character, you start to speak like that character. So it's that same thing.
아나지 소수 몇바 요새 화디기 다 제단으로 치고 봐. 롱년 창계대 소수 몇바 요새디 가부슈지의 인사 다 코기베 깨지시야다한다 배 제단한다 되게들이야 아주 쉽지 도나치대 주는 걸 봐.
And so you need to act like the deity for whom you have the greatest feeling. It's like with movie stars. When you have a movie star who you really like, then you try to speak like that movie star, or act or be like that movie star.
이나야 지 아주 movie star 다 다나 신기 그래 싱을 대졸이야 레모 채와다 대졸 레모 채와다 대단 내야 이담 고만이 초진 자래 되네야 초신다지네 지고쳐가 말해.
But for us to imitate movie stars or singers, and for us to meditate upon a Yidam deity, maybe in one respect they're the same, but in other respects they're different.
가르레스나 아주 이담 고매아디 소소 이담 마인신도 이담 인삼 간다지 준수르지 주만도 탑대버지 진짜 말해 다들 이담 고면하디 나란주 귤이야 다지 상계기 님부세는 라안도 대화시베 지 상계 가주에지 상기 롱기 사변세는 라 다 대화시베 님부사자 안소리야 요래
But when we meditate on Yidam deity, it's not the same. It's not as if we're playing the part of Yidam deity who we are not actually are. Instead, with the Yidam deity, we have within our beings, we have the essence of the Buddhas. We have the nature, the seed that can awaken to Buddhahood.
우마 땡규르웨기 로더 제베입니다. 안바지 동번이들지 유동번이 점마도지게 신나르지 매데비스 이나야 디시님 부마와 우마 신동벨로스 로 체낸다 아나지 차게 신부기 로더 제베이나 데 유동번이 좀 쳐가 말 동이 좀 쳐가 말해 동점 메가 좀 쳐가 말해 다디 외세의 이시세는라도 유전 이시 외세의 런시 근데지 차려
So this is Buddha nature. In the Prasanga tradition, then this is basically described as the object or emptiness. But in what you can call the tradition of the Tathagata-garbha, or the tradition of the Shentong school, this is also the Mahamudra tradition. We say that Buddha nature is not merely the object emptiness. It is not merely a no negation. It is not merely an absence. Instead, we say that it is the luminous wisdom. It is this conscious subject, the luminous wisdom. It has the nature of luminosity.
제가 우마베기 춘이디 코랑 가주에 덴버트베기 가주에 말 최대한테 대응오 모두버 점실이야 다 춘이 댄샤버 마도베 춘이 코랑 원에 무슨 댄어 말았어 누수전 댄어 말았어 디신님 부마와 우마 신동바 디즈 춘이 누수 댄네 어다 춘이는 들레다 제제 간다 응수 그라 춘이 그라 누주제 대한 주시한디 알에 제가 다티 가르에서나 다디 유진 이시사디 또 차디 알에
So in the middle way, they say that this nature of things, the dharmata, is the fact that that all phenomena are empty of their own nature is the dharmata. But they do not actually point out what that dharmata is. In the Tathagata-garbha tradition, in the Shentong tradition, they say that they point out and say, this is what the dharmata is. This is what the dharma nature is. And it is this conscious subject of wisdom.
제가 방에 망부시 드시자 뭐지. 된다 도도디 말한소리야 된저위에 다 감다 이시주 아래서. 된저위 이시디에 파괴사는 슈베기. 베너지 제네시도 된저기 이담 디즈기 투규레에 이시데라. 말한소리에 이시디 런신 남다가 차네서는 라도 간다로 뭐 차네 개발 중세 얘기하면 봐. 정말 찌부차.
Now I don't need to give too many explanations of it. The main point is that we all have that wisdom. The wisdom that the beings on the noble levels, such as Avalokiteshvara, and our own wisdom, in terms of the aspect of natural purity, or in terms of their essence, there's not the slightest difference between them. They are the same.
남발라 루이트메 dim미르기 개발시오니. 이나야 남발라 루이트메 dim미르 지금 디바디기 모왕 코랑기 규차 아마로 되네 개발 주요 많아 직벌 될이야 그래 규차 아마디 그라 장마 좀 매버지 돼요.
Now, in terms of its form, there is the distinction of whether it is obscured by the adventitious stains or not. But what is obscured, what is hidden, in terms of its essence, in terms of its nature, there's no distinction in that. So, in terms of the essence, in terms of the nature of or the character of how it actually is, it is actually stainless and unobscured.
Pena mazuki serdi tangbu tenni yungor ba serdi sawo tenni yungor ba tenni yungor san kola ji rock semerbe da ji cha da sa da yumang bu ji yo ne yue de bre da tene serdi pa jang che liber jang ne an kor ser zangman ru ji zangma sen da do da yugi tme ma go ba tene ji ser tme me ba ji do ji yong du wa re i tene ju da ser tme me ba chi liber jangbe ge serdi ranxin dang ngar ma jangbe serdi ranxin jigbore ranxin chane jigbore yinaya da ji chi nambal ya ji tme jang ma jang da nam gyur gu thone tuse khaba yong de.
For example, with gold, when we mine gold, we extract the ore and we have to remove many rocks and so forth to get the gold. But once we have smelted it and purified it, then it is clean and pure. It is stainless. And so that gold, the nature of the gold that has been purified, it's smelted, the stainless nature of that gold, and the previous nature of the gold when it was in ore, are the same. So, in terms of the external appearances, it's the difference of whether it is stained or not. But in nature, it is the same.
Na chesang ngal samonolya ji ngal samonolya idam to ben jeres to idam plawila tigi da ranjin du gyurya gi gyuje senen da kandarji chum karjwe tabanyin dengi ane daji shugun gyurya gi gyuje senen da do kandar tigi maza senen da do ngal samonol yede. Today, we use an antenna, and Yidam Yahlakonade, energy Shizatsan and Mabachilia, the Gazi, Plaimba, Mabache Deborah, energy Percarureta, Indondo Chedebrich, the Rich Chadi.
So all of us, when we meditate on ourselves as a Yidam deity, such as Avalokiteshvara, we have the material within our nature. We have the raw material. We have the twofold purity. We have the basis or the twofold purity, the raw materials within ourselves. And so for that reason, when we meditate upon ourselves as a Yidam deity, it's not like we are just imagining ourselves to be the Yidam deity or pretending that we're the Yidam deity.
야, 다 되게 저기 이담 공부해봐디, 그봐 김세현우지, 다 나랑 간체되는지 봐 시에래. 다 뒤지를 주원이 버지고 이담 가르 공부했어. 이담 안 보시죠. 제가 뒤나네 이담 가르 공부했어야지 좋아지 용어로 봐.
So that's the first question that comes up, and I've explained the reasons and the purpose for meditating on ourselves as the deities. Now the second question that comes up is, which deity should we visualize ourselves as? There are so many different Yidam deities.
베란딜리아 규지 상가 라메 규지 세당 니스즈루데 장묘래. 디 퍼직 장주 가장 당부 상황을 이담 계속 가르래서 상문진 쇼라비나 한 바지 문진 통에 바지 이 말에 깔아 하고래 다이네 디리 아니 이름 소소소리기 체 자셔래 제자 다 이름 망고슈도 원들 뺀들 차시베 이름 이주 장아요 다니 탕가딘 중국지 셰비나 되네 시도변진 군ringe 예바스마다 시도변진 최인주내기 셰고나 호랑기 다지가르 꿰바나 지샤바 된제기 달라메기 규디 탕가 차대어래 탕가 dom니 접뒤요 제자디 아주 대다데 museum demden강 되지 나네 아주디 빠르자 고급시 톱래 이 고급 톱네 안 빠르게 조심해래 제다다 이담 먹고 도와대 이담 다음에 좀 오만 예
For example, here we have 26 different tankas or paintings of the Yidam deities. And I think that when you look at them, there probably isn't anyone here who could identify all of them. So today we have actually added the names to the tankas. And you can see here that there are various different deities. And there are 26 deities here. Now, the story behind these tankas is that originally these tankas are based on tankas that were drawn by the 8th Situ Rinpoche, Situ Chukyi Jungne. And so these are the guru's tradition of the tankas. So there are 27 tankas in this series in total. And we were able to get them because we were able to have photographs of the originals that were in a museum and taken, and we have now hung them all here.
나라 삼는 다 이등을 라 패싱을 신도고요 삼사를 전이요 이내 다 치수 가르사디 탭들이 용도와 이담을 잡으면 되게 구바를 해야 되는 탭들이 용도와 다 드서지 때도산 되네나 베데 녀스 소마르가 다베 망타 쳔 가르미 어쩌스케면 도저 밤을 지볼래 그러면 24랑 요사 되네 다 가르미다 예 라고랑 왜 시안 깔아가고 싶샤지 봐 제가 라동사면 왜래 제가 가르 공부이 다 줘야 알아가고도 와
I used to think that I would be able to identify most of the Yidam deities, but these days you can get these picture books, coffee table books with many different pictures of tankas, and there's so many of them. It's hard to know which deity is which. There are over 20 forms of Vajravadahi alone. So which one is which? It's really difficult to tell, very difficult to identify which deity there are. There are thousands of Yidam deities, and so it can be really difficult to decide which one you should meditate upon.
다이나야 이담 망고예비네 소소 메바 세나다도 소소 다지 개바 다음 아는지 대바 치슈도 대바 치슈 메바 치슈 안다 폐게 잡아있는 소소 가슈 다 이담으로 가리네야 대고는 저그레스 다가도 디고 왕톱 디게 왕 화검초베 나와 톱에 젤리야 대고는 저그레스
But basically, whichever deity you have the greatest feeling for, whichever deity you have the greatest faith in, and so it's the one that you have the most faith for, the one that you have the most interest in, and to put it colloquially, your favorite deity, it's fine to meditate on that deity. Once you receive the empowerment, get permission to, the empowerment for that deity and get the permission, then it's fine to meditate on it.
다 이내 안 껍들이야 까만깜상게 롤이야 되네 도진낸 런이 도진낸으로마 고매하지 공부가 숨으래.
But here in the Karma Kamsam tradition, it said that you need to visualize yourselves as Vajrayogini.
대 가라에서는 준성 가라에서나 초직님이 도시 방문디 지주 마르바당 밀라당 다부순기 상회이다 미말에서.
So one reason for this is that Vajravadahi, from one perspective, Vajravadahi was the secret Yidam deity of Marpa, Milarepa, and Gampopa.
마음이 다하순디 거주기 매보 인상. 호나버즈 간데제네 다디 거주버 디수기 제심시 따고로 와. 제상 뒤균제는 되냐? 아주 이게 이담디 공부할 거가 준제지 대인소.
So Marpa, Milarepa, and Gampopa are the forefathers of the Kaju lineage. So the followers of the Kaju lineage need to see, are we able to do as they have done? And so that is one reason why we visualize on Varahi as the Yidam deity.
전에 미세도 차가심이 냠는 난게죠. 미세도 네 공부를 해서 미세도 도저 방문도 공부를 해서.
In particular, people who meditate on Mahamudra need to meditate on Vajravadahi.
가르레서나 도저 방문디 차가심은 hin지게마 차가심은 순지 차려.
And the reason is because Vajravadahi represents the co-emergent Mahamudra.
안 다나신 미세도 까막감사한 차수미미나 안 다보름 미치기 두숨 캠발리아 계속이 냠랭이 나요래 기름디 내조 도지 내조 메기 기름 조림디 다롱스미 예메기 조림 노스미 예메비 티 나데 나여비브래 그래서 디규전데네 한도지 방법과디 계속 인소.
In particular, in our Karmakaju tradition, Gampopa gave the first Karmapa Dusum Kempa 2 practices for the creation and the completion phases. For the creation phase, he gave him the creation phase practice of Vajravadahi. And for the completion phase, he gave him the instructions on the inseparability of the pranas and mind. And so this is another reason why Vajravadahi is so important.
도지 내주로만 공부해야 도지 내주로면 왕 토고요래. 이나 도지 내주로면 왕디 에네 가게 탐바. 데리 차리요래. 드림 유산에 디균선에 되네. 건조문 좀 도지 내주로면 왕 고스에 탐지해라. 도지 내주로면 왕 차 쳐고 말해. 드림 유산에 다 디균선에 되네. 엔다리디 콜로덴 쇼키. those ones have it. Chezada digi dozidenjo me wange da ko chebe sorchi. Dosi mi yusane. Kolo dejo wang topzang, yabge wang topzang, ane yumgi, yum daje yum gomcho baje yabiniga gomcho da yum baje gomcho me ro sambar dos 정도. Da maji ore maso.
But to visualize yourselves as Vajrayogini, you need to have the empowerment of Vajrayogini. However, the empowerment of Vajrayogini is very strictly restricted. And you can't just give it to in any old occasion. It's very strictly restricted. So for this reason, I have given the empowerment of Chakrasamvara. And I think that this will serve as the empowerment, can serve as the empowerment for Vajravarahi. Because Chakrasamvara is the father aspect. And I think once you've received the empowerment for the father aspect, that it is okay to meditate upon the mother aspect as well.
지 도지 파모 검토나 지 네 감상기 원주 단계에 있는 도지 파모 검토나 야보래 다대 고마도나야 다 이름 가능지 넘버 제샤네 만주스케요 만에
And so here, if you're able to practice, if you're able to visualize yourselves as Vajravarahi, particularly if you're doing the Karma Kamsan preliminaries, that's good. But if you're not able to visualize yourselves as Varahi, then you can visualize yourselves as any Yidam deity. And now I read a little bit more from the text.
Rangi jiwo nugi na wa sigi yigi de rinpoche chi laze kwe sangi gabe de pema dawe dian la. Dusum sangi tamzi dube ngo zaya lama ni namba doshi shangi chi luji. Gyam zhuyo gabdara la zaya lama na doshi shangla matu gu bar ga yuge lama na tuzi su shube tagardo. Nrinzhu cata su rubyu chukdub gyazi suwa da shen zoshen churu lamze shije ju lojong yube lama na jindar chiba yidam sangi chasan bawu kanda chukyon sunu soda jebe kone shuba tedaya. Duene tuyandam 용주 탐이 예매도 쇼버면 카즈미 무기 인탁반에 그베 동 슈다 동행 아로다지데 캬당 오버속에 세다 오미춘이 속에 예나디 뭐남체 자신 규집소 선립 기류 강 만남식으로다 캬바라 제트리기 도지송 선립 시간 주고 이시에도 뭐 장사 타라 빠자나마 속에 왕구로 사다베 타고르기 코는 왜도 쉬는 유벨라말라 팀 유벨라말레 림버치글 찍팀네 왜도 쉬 사야라말라 팀 군조 군주기 어르기 자와는 서가고 퇴 랑의 민성수 팀 소셔스 리기드바 타 분배왕 톱 남주스 게름 고말라 왕 지부주구 톱에 개발전도 제 뒤징제데 라멘 저번에 서마고 퇴 랑의 팀 준성 아가드바 사용왕도 서론 고말라 왕 롱구드베 개발전도 제 토간에 서롱고부터 닝가르 팀 로다스 이디다 시르비 시기 왕도 뇽주 고말라 왕 이게 거라 놓아서인데 죽을르베 계신체 내 순간에 요새 까마티서 최 땡딩인가팀 시립 윤립 요조게 뒤에 고순 차림 유튜브다 와시부터 차게스물을 돈예매 공발라 왕원 이거르베 개발체도 체 라레 무그 잡고증이 제베 경기 라마 개베 현중단다 제도 외기 공부를 쉬네랑 그 지원에 인가팀 라메토다 라세 예매도 교브르멜라 남버토베 파르마주베 셈 람밥 쳬레메베가나 진뉴스 냐버샤 텔레란데 나와 지셔 라메 꾸이 남기 나서버 자로 차세 송자동 난데란데 이 교전 지중 지셔 도지 이시기란자도 메라 겨왕오 춘섭수한 로에스 예초기 남거 벤데데라 라마 슈발라 고아체범이 서동그센 림버베메 라마 슈발라 서동 뒤즈리슈 쳬버메 마주에 탐지 쇠님 루도 탐지 라메 샤도 임버고 녀웨스 닝거 라마 춘강와 슈비 외기 류다 내가 탐지 세워고 대행한도 니도 로르자 세마타도 라마 지위주도 슈버메 대규대 선습자 데베세한테 들고 내가나 그래서 상화죄베 세나야 푸 라마라 무슨 이기관은 무 내 나서 라메 구천 강화를 뒤집어 내 삼지 주인이 다내 뒤집 중에 탑서 라메 칠럽린 중앙면라 가와금 연기 춘추 중에 라메 칠레기를 말하라 계획만 민자버메 너나 디기 중에 라메 칠럽 룽에 중에 라메 투지를 겁네 무급회에 대해서 자와마도 빵인신을 민정하는 내 담바오.
She is also the secret yidam of Marpa, Milarepa, and Gampopa. Due to these interdependent connections, here the custom is to visualize her. Imagine that above your head or in the sky in front of you is a jeweled throne supported by 8 snow lions and covered with fine, divine fabrics. On top of it, on a lotus moon seat, is the combined essence of all the Buddhas of the 3 times, your root guru in the form of Vajradhara, as in the practice for going for refuge. In a column above him are the Kaji masters up through Vajradhara, surrounded by an ocean of the siddhas of the practice lineage, such as the Drikun, Drukpa, Tsalpa, Taklun, and so forth. Additionally, the gurus of the lineage of the great perfection, the 6 yogas, path and result, pacification, chit, mind training gather like clouds. Surrounding them are the gatherings of yidams, Buddhas, bodhisattvas, heroes, dakinis, dharma protectors, and guardians. These have been wholly established from the very beginning, present as the inseparable Samaya and wisdom beings. With devotion that is not mere words, with the strength of dedication from the depths of your heart and a cry of longing, pray, pervasive Lord whose nature is of all things, and so forth. Offer the 7 branches and aspirations by reciting the prayer beginning in the Dharma Expense Palace of Akanishta, and recite the long or short supplications such as the Mahamudra lineage prayer as appropriate. Then, without allowing your mind to be distracted by anything else, recite and accumulate the 4-line prayer, My Mothers Throughout Space, and in particular the 6-line supplication that is the Vajra words of Lord Dusam Khenpa. At the end, supplicate the glorious gurus and others to grant you empowerment. Due to this, the surrounding retinue melts into light and dissolves into the lineage gurus. The lineage gurus then melt one into another. They melt into light and dissolve into your root guru, who becomes the essence of all 3 jewels combined. White light radiates from his forehead and dissolves into the space between your eyebrows. This purifies obscurations of body, such as killing. You receive the Va's empowerment and are empowered to meditate on the creation phase during the time of the path. You become a fortunate one who will achieve the Nirmanakaya as a result. In a similar fashion, red light radiates from the Guru's throat and dissolves into your throat, purifying your obscurations of speech, such as lying. You receive the secret empowerment and are empowered to meditate on the channels and winds. You become a fortunate one who will achieve the Sambhogakaya. Blue light radiates from the Guru's heart and dissolves into your heart, purifying mental obscurations such as wrong views. You then receive the Prajna wisdom empowerment and are empowered to meditate on the absorption. You become a fortunate one who will attain the Dharmakaya. White, red, and blue lights radiate from the Guru's 3 places and dissolve into your forehead, throat, and heart. This purifies the obscurations that are equally of body, speech, and mind, and contained within the afflictive and cognitive obscurations, as well as the obscurations of absorption. You receive the 4th empowerment and are empowered to meditate on Mahamudra, inseparable awareness and emptiness. You become a fortunate one who will achieve the essence Kaya. Once again, in response to your fervent devotion, the Guru, with the pleased, radiant smile, melts into a globe of light that enters you through your crown of your head and dissolves into your heart. Imagine that the Guru's mind and your mind become inseparable, and let your mind rests evenly as long as you can in the uncontrived, uncontaminated nature, uninterrupted by thought. When you arise from that, think that whatever appearances arise are the various manifestations of the Guru's body. All sounds are their speech, the empty yet audible natural sound of the channels. Whatever movement and thoughts arise in the mind are the spontaneous energy of Vajra wisdom. Then dedicate the merit. Between meditation sessions, when you're walking, think that you are circumambulating the Guru, who is seated on a lotus moon seat in the sky to your right. When eating or drinking, imagine that your food and drink melt into nectar that you offer to your Guru, who is seated on a red lotus in your throat. Meditate that everything you say is a supplication and that all movement, sitting, and activities are service to the Guru. When going to sleep, meditate that the Guru, an inch in size, sits in the center of your heart, and that his light illuminates your body and room. Fall asleep in that state. As soon as you wake up, imagine the Guru sitting on the crown of your head and pray to him with great faith and devout dedication. Also meditate in this way when you are sitting. When you get a new house, clothes, or so forth, offer the best of these to the Guru, actually or mentally. When ill, imagine the Guru, an inch in size, at the location of the illness. Think that nectar drips from him, cleansing and purifying all sickness. Imagine that all illness, misdeeds, and obscurations are methods of purification that come from the Guru's blessings, and meditate on joy. If demonic displays arise, think that these are the play of the Guru's activity, urging you to practice virtue. In brief, meditate that any happiness that occurs is the Guru's blessing, and any suffering that occurs is also the Guru's compassion. Use these as supports to increase your devotion, and do not look elsewhere for ways to remedy them or rid yourselves of them. This is a crucial point.
미버 지주들이 수위 다다들이야 드라마송 안 드라마송은 차당 자통 안 와지 그냥 가시 Sanjana Drogo Yervina, and Kajeva Chi. In a Shanadi Sama Mutu Dene, German Dens Chatunga in da.
So this is enough for the morning session. In the afternoon, I will describe the visualizations. Now at this point, we will recite the Tara practice, and at the same time we will serve tea. You can drink your tea. If you have to go to the restrooms, you can go to the bathrooms or the washrooms. So some of you can go, but if you don't have to go, then you should stay where you are and recite Tara.
Then, Chubalia, La Manager, Tushila Manager, Tushila Manager Sunare, the screen to your way. Tushila Manager, the screen to your Shagare, just Samalo Yambo de Chota.
And then at 10 a.m. we will have the Guru Yoga practice, the 4-session Guru Yoga. And the text will be displayed on the screen so everyone can recite together.